Hey everyone, so my name is Leon, and tonight, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. I decided to do a change the format for my Big Brother 23 coverage. So instead of going it episode by episode, I'm gonna be going it week by week. I think that would be a little bit more easier for me to process the week of the what's going on in Big Brother house because for me, I would rather give you the full thoughts of how the week of it went at Big Brother house instead of going episode by episode and not really giving my full thoughts or details on it, especially with someone like me who looks at a lot of spoilers. So definitely going for until the end game of Big Brother 23, and maybe in recap episodes going forward in a lot of other reality TV shows. If I decide to do more coverage, what I'm gonna do is every either eviction episode or every episode where someone gets spoiled out or something like that, I'm gonna be doing a recap episode based on the week. So let's say, for example, for Big Brother, it has 3 episodes a week. So I'm gonna be doing a recap based on those last 3 episodes in that week. For Survivor, for example, I'll be doing a recap episode based on that 1 week of Survivor. So that'll be an example of how I do my recaps going forward. But with that being said, let's just talk about week 7 of Big Brother 23. So we're gonna be talking about episodes 20, 21, and 22. That being said, let's just jump right into it. So, as you all know, Derek X unfortunately got voted out. Um, I like Derek X perfectly fine as a person. I think he's for someone who's pretty new to the game, he's pretty good strategically. He's be able to pick on the game pretty decently earlier on. Winning the first 2 power beaters, then winning HOH in week 5 to take out Christian. My issue is because he's new to the game, there are certain things he couldn't pick up right away. One, two, I think saving Kylan on the week 1 Power Beetle and letting Travis go was not a big mistake, but that was like a mistake where you can criticize him for. And in addition, he wasn't aware of what was going on around him since he was new to the game. But to be honest, any non-cookout member had no idea what was going on around him. So that's not really a Derek X big mistake per se. Anyways, let's keep going into talk about more about Derek X. So another thing I feel like Derek X did was a big mistake to me was taking out Christian in week 5, make him the 5th member of the pre-jury stage and not make him make jury, because I feel like if you had Christian get to jury, that's like a meat shield for him, because at that point, Kylan, Xavier, him and Christian were winning all the comps, and him and Christian were bigger comp threats because they didn't have as much allies as Kylan and Xavier had from the cookout. Plus, Christian and him, meaning Derek X, had more comparability at the time. So him taking out Christian a week too early, where not only he took out a big meat show ahead of him, but he broke up that royal flush alliance between himself, Claire, Kylan, Christian, Alyssa, Sarah Beth, Xavier, and I am missing Tiffany. Yeah. So you broke out that alliance prematurely, even though that alliance was not gonna last long anyways, past the jury stage due to the presence of the cookout. So I think if Derek X comes back to the game, I think it'll be a good chance for him to come back and dominate and do it more. But that's just me. So let's see. Anyways, let's talk about more thoughts. What I have in the week. I really like, people think Sarah Beth had a terrible HH, and yeah, it was pretty bad. But I want to give Sarah Beth a bit of credit here because in her mind, she thought that her and Kylan were a duo that Derek X, a big comp that was gonna go after in the next week when he wins HOH. And from a game's perspective, he did the same thing Derek X did. Well, not he. She did the same thing that Derek X did. But I think I give Sarah Beth more sympathy because Sarah Beth doesn't see what the audience sees. She doesn't see that there's a cookout alliance and that Kylan's a part of it. So I give a decent credit to her, even though it could be better HOH, but it's not the worst HOH to me. Um, Someone like Howie from season 6 did a worse HOH because my thing with Derek X, since the Royal Flush Alliance was done, never worked with Sarah Beth anyways because Sarah Beth, he put Sarah Beth on the block to help in the back door of Christian. So, I mean, what's she supposed to do? He put her up, so she was returning the favor. Two, people think that, you know, putting up some. I think to put some up like Claire could have been worse for her, but Derek X wasn't an ally of hers, so we gotta give Sabbath some slack here. And two, Derek X just didn't take out Christian. He didn't realize that he was gonna be the next guy in the child block, so it's tough for him. And I'll give a lot more credit to Kylan. To be honest, Kylan plays magnificently well. Yeah, you can judge how he did it, but I think Kylan knew that it was safer for him to work with the cookout than to work with have Sarah Beth and Derek X come together, which would be a more optimal move, but that's still alliance of three versus alliance of six. And Kai decided to convince Sarah Beth to do a move that's not good for her game, but good for his game. So yeah, good job on Kai there. The final vote surprised me. It was a 5-2. I thought it was gonna be a 6-1, where probably Azar gave him sympathy vote or Tiffany gave him sympathy vote. I'm not surprised by Azar voting him out, but I'm surprised that Tiffany did. And if Tiffany realized that Kyla and Hannah was going to throw sympathy votes towards Derek X, then she could have just convinced Azar or Big D to throw another sympathy vote. And I'm sure she tried to, but Kylan and Hannah did a good job of convincing Tiffany that it wasn't going to happen, and then they did it behind her back. So 5-2 vote. I think that would cause a little chaos for a little bit, because then Tiffany will realize that it was just her boat and another person's boat that she had. But then she realized it probably was only three. But even still, losing Derek X was bad for her game. But I think Tiffany, because of the structure that she made with the cookout and everybody else in the house, she should be all set. I think Tiffany's going to get to definitely the final six, definitely the final five. Final four, unless she wins out, will be hard for her, but we'll see. And Hannah being really cutthroat, willing to let go of Derek X this early, I think is kind of bad, but then it's kind of good in a way, because she realized that Derek X could win out. And if Derek X is sitting next to her in the end, yes, unless the cookout has that super agreement where they're just born for each other to win, even though they play the worst game next to someone else, have sit next to Derek X, she loses against him, because Derek X is not only more likable, but has done more competition-wise than her. So, yeah, I'm surprised that Hannah was willing to let go of him this early. But then again, I don't mind it, I really like what I'm seeing for Hannah a little bit, able to be in the middle. Her and Xavier, too. Xavier's kind of middle, too, with the cookout. Where Kylan and Tiffany could have been in the middle, but they're not really seeing eye to eye sometimes. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. By the end of the episode 22, we see Tiffany as an H race, but we also know that there's one more power in play for the BB Bucks, with this coin power, where it kind of works similar to the Coup d'etat Big Brother 11, where a player, if they win the coin toss power, they can essentially become the HOH and overthrow Tiffany's winning HOH. So they could replace Tiffany's nominations. I mean, Tiffany cannot go up because she's a HOH if it works similar to Big Brother 11, but they could put either leave noms the same, or they can put up their own noms and ruin Tiffany's game there. So we'll see. Big D, aka Derek F, the only Derek in the house now, could win that power himself. But he can also, because now they're giving a couple more Big Brother BB Bucks, maybe someone like a Claire or Tiffany could win that power herself. We'll see. But anyways, that's the episode. Yeah, this is the format going forward. I'm gonna just be doing weekly recaps of Big Brother 23. So week 8, which episode 23, 24, 25 should be coming soon. And more other videos coming soon. That I have more videos coming soon. So thank you guys for watching, and adios. Adios.